I worked 2 jobs to give my wife and her family a good life. Then she decides she can do better than me and becomes unfaithful. Now she regrets it. Growing up, I didn't have much. I lost my parents in an accident before I could even remember their faces. My grandmother raised me. She was a woman of few words, but her lessons stayed stitched into my heart. Work hard. Be patient. Don't let bitterness make a home inside you. When she passed away during my first year of college, it felt like the ground gave way beneath me. I was alone except for one uncle, Uncle Adam, who lived a few states over. He tried to be there in his own way, calling when he could, sending care packages of socks and canned soup when I couldn't afford groceries. But mostly, it was me against the world. Somehow, that loneliness made me want a family more than anything else. That's why, when I met Sarah, I thought I had finally found home. Sarah was beautiful, funny, and sharp. She laughed easily, lit up any room she walked into. Her family, her parents Rick and Karen, her brother Brad, and her sister Emily, they were loud and messy but welcoming in a way I didn't realize I was starving for. When Sarah and I got married, we bought a modest little house right next to her parents. It felt like I had been adopted into a warm, chaotic clan. I was grateful. I promised myself I would work as hard as needed to give Sarah the life she deserved. At first, it worked. I had a mid-level job as an accountant at a decent firm downtown. I picked up a remote side gig working nights for a company based in China. My days blurred into spreadsheets and late-night Zoom calls. But it was worth it. When Sarah smiled at me, when we had Sunday dinners with her family in the backyard, I believed I was building something real. What I didn't notice was the slow erosion. It started small. Her parents, her siblings, they were always around. Dinner was never just the two of us. It was a constant rotation of accidental visits. They'd help themselves to groceries, to my tools, to anything that wasn't nailed down. Money was borrowed with vague promises to repay that never materialized. When bills started creeping up, when Sarah suggested we should host more meals, I didn't protest. Family is family, right? But as the months stretched into years, the weight grew heavier. Costs rose. I was burning myself out. I thought maybe Sarah would notice, would step in, but instead, she began to change. Her smiles for me became rare. Her laughter, once so free, now came coated in sarcasm. Worse, the words from her family grew sharper. You could have married someone with real ambition, her mother would joke, half drunk on boxed wine. You're carrying him, you know, her sister whispered one night when she thought I was out of earshot. Even Brad, whose idea of employment was reselling sneakers on Facebook Marketplace, once snickered that I should be grateful Sarah even looked at me twice. The worst part? Slowly, Sarah started believing them. She started comparing me to random influencers, people flashing fake wealth online. She'd make snide comments about my car, my clothes, my job. She started pressuring me to buy things we couldn't afford, bigger house, luxury vacations, designer bags. When I hesitated, she looked at me like I was a disappointment. I thought if I worked harder, I could fix it. I thought love was supposed to be enough. It was a friend who finally opened my eyes. One night, while I was pulling a late shift, my phone buzzed with a message. You need to see this, man. Sorry. Attached was a blurry photo. Sarah, tucked into the corner booth of a cozy cafe, her hand resting far too intimately on the thigh of a man I didn't recognize. My heart didn't even break. It just stopped, like a clock running out of battery. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I blamed myself. Maybe I had worked too much. Maybe I had neglected her. For the next few weeks, I bent over backward trying to be better. I cooked dinner, took her on surprise dates, booked a weekend getaway, all while swallowing the bitter knowledge of her betrayal like poison disguised as hope. But she only grew colder. I should have known then. Guilt makes guilty people cruel. The final straw came brutally. Another friend saw her with the guy again in a restaurant and called me. I went there straight away. I didn't even feel anger anymore. Just a cold, steady clarity. I walked into the cafe. They didn't even see me at first. When Sarah finally looked up and saw me standing there, her face twisted, not in guilt, but annoyance. Like I was the inconvenience. She didn't even try to make an excuse. We fought. Loud. Messy. The guy, some sleazy-looking dude with tattoos creeping up his neck, tried to get involved. I ignored him. Sarah and I ended up in the car, driving the short distance to her parents' house. Somewhere deep down, I hoped they'd talk sense into her. Maybe they would remind her of the vows we made. Maybe they'd remind her that marriage wasn't disposable. Instead, they sided with her instantly. Rick laughed in my face. Karen rolled her eyes and said, maybe now you'll see you were never good enough. Brad muttered something about levels and bettering yourself. It was like a bad dream where every face you trusted morphed into a stranger's. That night, I packed a bag, found a cheap motel, and started the divorce paperwork the next morning. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't even demand explanations. Some betrayals are so complete, words would only cheapen them. Divorce was fast. Sarah didn't even fight it. She wanted out, thought she was trading up. Within 6 months, the papers were signed, and I was officially single again. I sold the house at a loss and left the city without telling a soul. No goodbye texts. No social media updates. No explanations. I just disappeared. It was Uncle Adam who saved me. When he heard about the divorce, he didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't say much at all. Instead, he helped me move to his state and even set me up with an interview at a prestigious firm where he had connections. He pushed me hard to finally sit for my CPA exams, something I had been putting off for years because of my busy life. Without distractions, without the constant background noise of freeloaders draining me dry, I thrived. I worked like a man possessed. Studied for months. Passed every section of the CPA exam on my first try. Got hired full-time at a top accounting firm with a salary nearly double what I ever earned before. I leveled up. Quietly. No boasting. No revenge fantasies. Just steady, focused improvement. I bought a small but beautiful condo overlooking the city. Got in the best shape of my life. Started praying consistently again, quietly, privately, without making it a show. I rebuilt myself from the inside out. And for the first time in years, I felt free. Meanwhile, Sarah's life was crumbling. At first, everything was shiny on her end. Photos flooded social media. Her new boyfriend, his name was Jason, apparently posting them at bars, restaurants, concerts. Selfies. Brag posts. #blessed. But cracks appeared fast. Jason, it turned out, had a complicated relationship with employment, meaning he didn't work. Ever. He drained whatever savings Sarah had. Borrowed money from her parents and never paid it back. Brad tried to hustle him into one of his sneaker schemes. Failed miserably. Emily tried setting him up at a call center job, but he quit within a week. And the worst part? Jason wasn't just lazy. He was violent. It started small, broken phones, screaming matches in public. Then bruises that Sarah tried to cover up with makeup. Police reports that never went anywhere because she was too scared to press charges. Meanwhile, Sarah's family, the ones who had encouraged her to upgrade, started backing away. Rick and Karen stopped inviting her over. Brad joked cruelly that she had downgraded herself into a punching bag. Emily posted a cryptic status about fake people ruining their own lives. They abandoned her when she was no longer their golden girl, the same way they had abandoned me when I no longer served their needs. 2 years passed. I built a new life, real friends, a solid career, a sense of peace. And someone new. Her name was Layla. She was kind, humble, strong. She didn't care about flashy cars or big houses. She cared about loyalty, faith, patience, the things that actually mattered. We married in a quiet ceremony with just a few close friends and Uncle Adam in attendance. No drama. No loud, fake smiles. No parasites. Just peace. One rainy Thursday evening, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. Normally, I wouldn't have answered, but something made me pick up. It was Sarah. Her voice was hoarse, cracked. She tried to sound casual, like we were old friends catching up. Told me she had left Jason after a really rough time. Said she realized she made mistakes. Said she missed me. Said she still loved me. I listened quietly. When she finished, I simply said, "I forgive you. But I've moved on." There was silence. Then a choked sob. I wished her well, truly. I didn't hang up in anger or bitterness. Then I blocked the number. Sometimes people ask me if I ever feel satisfaction knowing how badly things turned out for her. Honestly, no. Because my goal was never to win against Sarah or her family. It was to win against the bitterness they tried to plant in me. And I did. Quietly. Patiently. Without losing myself. Life has a funny way of revealing the truth, eventually. It doesn't always happen loudly or dramatically. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just life moving forward without the people who once tried to break you. Looking back now, I realize it wasn't Sarah's betrayal that hurt the most. It was how little they all valued loyalty, gratitude, patience, the things that actually build a home. They thought love was a transaction. They thought loyalty was only owed when things were perfect. They thought someone's worth could be measured by their salary or how much they could provide. They forgot that real success isn't about money or appearances. It's about character. It's about integrity when no one is watching. It's about being a rock when the storms hit. And when you live that way, even when no one sees it, you are never truly losing. You are growing. You are being prepared for better things. Today, when I sit beside Layla, when we eat simple meals at our small kitchen table, when we pray side by side before starting our day, I feel wealth they will never understand. Peace. Contentment. Real love. No loud parties. No fake smiles. No pretending. Just real life. Real blessings. As for Sarah, last I heard, she moved back into her parents' house. Jason disappeared from her life, leaving only debt and scars behind. Her family barely tolerates her now. They resent her for the shame she brought on their name. But that's not my burden to carry anymore. Everyone reaps what they sow, eventually. If there's one thing I learned through all of this, it's this. When you choose patience, loyalty, and faith, even when it hurts, you will never lose. Maybe not immediately, but eventually your patience will bloom into something beautiful. And those who betrayed you? They will have to live with the gardens they neglected, the bridges they burned, alone.